What's up YouTube, Dale here from Zephyr, and today I am bringing you possibly the most aggressive build for Blue Eyes. Today is the turn of Blue Eyes Tenpai. Now the best thing about this particular engine is it can go first and second a little bit more consistently than just natural Tenpai. However, it does have the ability of threatening the Tenpai engine going second, which can really push you into an aggressive manner. I'll show you some examples throughout the video as we go, just so you can kind of see where you want to start and how you want to end, and how the Blue Eyes engine kind of helps facilitate the access to the Tenpais as well. So with all of that out of the way, please smash that like button, hit that notification bell, and subscribe so you don't miss out on any more upcoming content. I've still got a White Forest version that I'm currently cooking on, as well as loads of other different variants that you guys have been requesting, and also a very special resonator version as well, using this guy here, Chain Resonator, as that is the main bridge that is going to help you get into your Red Dragon Archfiend combos. There's a bit of a preview of something that's coming up. I'm just waiting on the Chain Resonator to turn up, and then I can put it together for you. So with that out of the way, we're going to dive headfirst into the profile, show you what we've got, and explain why we've got it. So what I'm trying to do the more times than not is keep the Blue Eyes lineup relatively the same, because I think that it's relatively staple and core throughout all the different variants, and then that maintains the deck being a Blue Eyes-esque variant rather than a Tenpai with a small Blue Eyes engine. So we're going to go with 2 Blue Eyes White Dragon and 1 Jet Dragon. Usually the only time I swap out the Jet Dragon is either A, for a bit of space, or B, more times than not, when Abyss Dragon is better than Jet Dragon if I'm going down a Ritual route or if I'm going down a Fusion route. Then of course we've got triple Maiden, followed up by triple Sages as well. Pretty standard on this one. The big difference in this particular build to some of the other builds is you need to start with your Tenpai. Because your additional normal summon is a level 1 light tuner, your additional normal summon needs to be something like Sage or Master, and there isn't a way of getting into Tenpai through Blue Eyes if it's not through, what I mean by that is you can't go Sage, search out an Esque of Tenpai, or go through wishes to search out Tenpai like you can do in like a Buster Blader version. The one big thing you can do is if you work your way to an Ancient Fairy Dragon, you blow up your own mausoleum and then search yourself out the Sangan summoning. The difference is if you go down that way, you can't utilize your battle phase that turn. So what you're trying to do if you do go down the Ancient Fairy route is you're going to create a Crystal Wing to protect your board, and you're going to search out off the back of Sangan summoning is you might want to search yourself out again Roku and work your way into a Sangan Kaiman, and that's the one you want to be able to trigger during your next battle phase to complete the OTK. Whereas if you do start with a Pydra, you don't need to worry about the Sangan summoning, and you can actually complete the OTK that entire turn. So I'll explain that as we go. I then got the 1 Master. Again, this is a 41 card build, so you can cut the Master out completely if you want to. It really is entirely up to you. I just like it as a bit of a grind option, and also one of them ones that if you do discard it off of something like a Sangan summoning, you still have the ability to trigger it in the grave later on as well. Triple Wishes, again, another one you could arguably sacrifice and put it down to 2, because multiple wishes isn't always that great to have, especially with Tenpai being so aggressive. You want to be a little bit more fast paced. You don't really want to be entering into a grind game, and that's where the Tenpai is going to help you kind of get out of that that ability. And the one big difference is as well with a Tenpai deck, usually if you're forced to go first, you're mainly going Seals Pass. Whereas now what you can do is you can do full Blue Eyes combo and then search yourself out the Tenpai cards for the follow-up of the next turn. So not only are you threatening your opponent with the ability of being able to go full Blue Eyes combo and OTK that way, you're also saying, well, if I go into the battle phase and I can't complete an OTK, keeping in mind that Tyrant Dragon will kill all of your opponent's monsters anyway, you just go Sangan Kaiman and then go full combo for the Tenpais. Then we've got the 1 Raw, 1 Mausoleum, followed up by 1 True Light and 1 Majesty. All pretty standard on this one. Again, like I've said, it's a 41 card build, so if you want to go for full aggression, you can very easily take out the Majesty. Then for the Tenpai engine, and this is what makes it relatively good as well, because the Tenpai engine is not that expensive. So again, it can be a very cheap and easy budget upgrade to the deck. If you already had Tenpai, or you're like, I just want to play an aggressive version and go like OTK enablers, then you can go with something like Pydra, and then you can sub out all of your hand traps and go for board breakers instead. So there is loads of space to play around with it. Then of course we've got the 2 Gengaroku. These are all really important because you need your Pydra. Pydra is your main summon. Yes, of course, Chandra can put in a bit of work, but Chandra's at 1, so the consistency is going to be a lot lower. But the way you've got to see this is you technically have 5 ways to get into your Pydra. 6 when you encounter the 1 Dora Dora, which I've added in, just because I feel that getting access to Gengaroku, which ultimately summons itself down and turns itself into Pydra, gives you more consistency. And all of these cards here, because they are level 4 or lower dragons, allow you to go into the Blue Eyes Link 1. So straight away, if you start with a Dora Dora and they hand trap this just because they think you're going straight onto the Tenpai, you go, okay, cool, turn into the Blue Eyes Link 1, and if you've already got Sage and you work your way to Mausoleum, that's another way you've baited out a hand trap. And then, like I said, it's very easy to go Ancient Fairy Dragon to get to your Sangan summoning if you do want to get to, again, Roku, summon it down, get to your Pydra, get to your Kaiman, and then you're building up your board from that point on. Yes, of course, you can't conduct your battle phase, but you also need to remember as well, Ancient Fairy Dragon can let you special summon at level 4 from the hand, so that's another way of being able to get something like a Chandra out of the hand if you don't control a Tenpai. Speaking of which, obviously the one Chandra and the one Fudra. You can play more Fudras if you want to, you can play 2, but honestly I don't think you need to. You can play the Princess engine in the extra deck just so if you do hard open up the Fudra, but again, because you're not heavily reliant on a normal summon, you can normal summon down the Fudra and then link it off. It's not something you want to be doing, but there are some times where that will come up. The one Sangan Kaiman, the one Sangan Summoning, and the one Terraforming. You could, again, arguably cut the Terraforming just because it's a little bit inconsistent, but it does give you that ability to go for this or Mausoleum. And what I mean by it's inconsistent is you've only got 2 field spell targets, and obviously if you get to one of them, which you naturally will do through the extra anyway, you're going to Ancient Fairy to get to the other one. But there are times where you could hard open up a Terraforming, and your opponent stops your Link 1, and you go, cool, Terraforming, search out the Mausoleum anyway. Entirely up to you. I still think it's worth having just to give you that additional option. Alternatively, again, because it's a 41 card deck, you cut it out, but then you would also focus on Pot of Prosperity. I still really like Pot of Prosperity because going first, it can show me my engine that I need. Going second, it can help me get into my Tenpai engine, which we already know will complete an OTK. And then when you're adding on Blue Eyes to that, it just makes your OTK more consistent under Pot of Prosperity. Then for the hand traps, obviously pretty standard on this one. Triple Ash Blossom, double Veiler, double Ogre. Again, if you want to go for a more of a board breaker option because you want to build this as aggressive as possible, you can go for Book of Eclipses, Forbidden Droplets. You could even go back to the current version of Tenpai, which is like Sky Strikers. So you could go with 3 engages, 1 drones, 1 Widow Anchor, and then you can kind of work your way into other normal spells like Frost. So it's up to you whether you want it to go direct, go second, or if you want to have that balance of going first and second, which is what the Blue Eyes enable. The last hand traps will be triple Infinite Impermanence and then 2 Beast Steals in the form of Druid Swim and Magnamute. This is obviously the most expensive card in the main deck. Again, you can take this out for a Bull Drake. It doesn't have the exact same applications, but because you're playing the Blue Eyes engine, you do have more lights and darks that you can send, so it still gives them something to worry about, and that's something you can get off of the back of the Heavenly Spheres as well if you wanted to, which can cause issues, especially when you've got Maiden, so they can't directly just attack the Maiden, because then you just float back into a light or dark anyway, and then your Bull Drake can still send it. So it still gives you an interruption that can cause your opponent a lot of issues. So that's it for the entire main deck. Like I said, very small investment of Tenpais. It's like 10 cards in the main deck. And then on the extra deck for the Tenpai side, you've got the one Transcendent. I've got the one Trident. Now, I'm going to show you 16 cards because I haven't really figured out what I would want to cut as of yet. So I think you could probably go, you definitely go Transcendent, but it's like, do you want Trident or not? And then the other question is whether you want to be playing 2 Biden or not, and you feel that you don't need to enter into the grind game of this, you can cut this down by 1. So like I said, I'm going to be showing you 16 cards because I haven't quite figured out exactly what one I want to cut yet to make it 15, because I still feel that playing a Cully Belt is also quite important, just to help you out certain floodgates. Maybe this one is the most situational one that you could sacrifice and put it into the side deck. So, I mean, just for clarity, let's do that now, just so I'll show you exactly 15 cards. And these are the 4 Tenpai cards you want to be running, but I feel you could very easily add in the Cully Belt. Then for the Blue Eyes cards, of course, we're going with, let's start with the Spirit Dragons just for clarity. So 2 Spirit Dragons, and the reason you're going into Spirit Dragon is this will then get you into your either Moonlight Dragon. It can also get you into your Blue Eyes Ultimate Spirit Dragon, but then the most important one for this particular version is your Ancient Fairy Dragon, just because it'll get you to that Sangan Summoning. Now remember, if you do this going second, it's not going to allow you to OTK, you're only going to be doing this to bridge going first, but it's also one of the ones, if you don't feel you need the Sangan Summoning and you want to get to your Mausoleum because your opponent stopped it and you hard open up the Sangan Summoning, you can flip to that other side as well. And then that will enable you to go for an additional normal summon, and that additional normal summon of that Tune-Arc can then open up the door to a Crystal Wing, so it gives you that defensive option should you need it, should you want it. Then for the other Blue Eyes cards, we've got the one Tyrant and the one Neo, pretty staple on that one, and the 2 Spirits, and again, the one Heavenly Seal. Again, for the grind game, you might consider taking out a Spirit, but to be completely honest with you, I'd probably be closer to taking out a Bident Dragon than I am to taking out a Spirit Dragon, just because of how good this card is. The fact it just requires a level 4 or lower Dragon or Spellcaster is what makes this bridge between Tenpai so easy. And the fact of the matter is, when you start with a Tenpai, people are going to be so scared and so threatened of what a Pydra can lead you to, or what a Dora Dora can lead you to, that 99% of the time, if they have a hand trap, they're going to drop it at that point. And in doing so, that will then stop the access to your or what they would assume would stop the access to your Tenpais. And then as soon as you go, okay, well, I guess they need to hard open up Chandra or Kaiman in order to extend, and you just go, no, okay, link it off, go into Spirit Dragon, and then you move on from there. The only thing you need to be very careful of is when you lock yourself into Dragon Synchros or Fire Dragons or anything along those lines. If you lock yourself into the Dragons, you're absolutely fine, because I'm 99% sure everything in the extra deck, yeah, it's all Dragons, so you don't really care about that lock at all, which does give you a bit of a fighting edge as well. So that's pretty much it for the entire list. Obviously, it is the most aggressive version in my opinion, because just being able to go normal summon Pydra and then threat an OTK is absolutely mental. The consistency is a lot less thanks to the ban list, but that being said, because you have that bridge from your Blue Eyes to the Tenpais and the Tenpais to the Blue Eyes, it actually does still have a decent amount of consistency. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to be better than the pure version of Tenpai. Well, I say pure. The current version of Tenpai where they play the Striker package, but it is just kind of a nice little additional option that will really catch your opponent off guard. It might not so much in the future, because I know that this version of a deck is taking a bit more of a rumbling around the society and more people are becoming aware of it. But the idea is that you start off with either your Tenpais and work your way into Blue Eyes, or you can start to Blue Eyes and work yourself into the Tenpais for a follow-up. That is the one big thing you need to remember, is if you start with Blue Eyes, you're going to go into your Tenpais as a follow-up, because you're going to need to go through Ancient Fairy Dragon. If you don't need to go through Ancient Fairy Dragon to get to your Tenpais, you can still just build your normal Blue Eyes board and then hold the information back. Like, let's say you opened up a Tenpai monster, but you're like, I feel that I'm going to get more by presenting a Blue Eyes board. You present the Blue Eyes board, hold back any information about the Tenpai so that your opponent doesn't know you're playing the Tenpais, and then when it comes back to your turn, you can either start off with the Blue Eyes cards again, or you just go normal summon Pydra, and they'll be like, what the hell, I thought you was on Blue Eyes, and you're like, nope, got ya, and then you just go straight in for the Tenpai OTK, and they've already wasted everything they have on the Blue Eyes cards. So that's it for the entire profile. Please let me know if you do have any questions at all. By all means, put them in the comments down below. I will be more than happy to answer them for you. I'm going to be trying to bring you as many more variants that I could possibly come with. I know a lot of people have mentioned to me the White Forest build. I do need to look at that and do a bit more research on it, as I feel that that is going to be the one that is going to adapt the combos the most. The Resonator one, again, I've tried to take the exact same approach with this one, where I've tried to keep it relatively budget, but I've also tried to minimize the engine so that you can still play with your normal Blue Eyes route, and then the addition and the benefit, quite like with the Magician's Souls package in the Dark Magician or the Dragoon version, also then opens up the door to Red Dragon Archfiend. And I think it's kind of nice of Kaiba and Jack Atlas coming together. I think that's kind of a cool hybrid build, which is really kind of awesome. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Till next time, as absolutely always, stay safe and, of course, happy dueling.